But I will tell you, there are a lot of good teams at the top of the conference, and Liberty probably pretty accurate right there in that top four.
Second half underway. Richmond now going right to left in the red. Liberty in the white with the lead. 3 goals in the first half. That's the most goals for Liberty in one half of play since September 22nd of 2019. Liberty scored 3 goals in the second half against VMI that day. So you have to go back a little bit for the Flames to have 3 goals in one half.
Yeah, definitely, an offensive output for them, unlike any they've had for a while. If you had asked me to guess, I think I would have guessed VMI would be the opponent that they put 3 on in a half, and they looked really good doing it. And it wasn't like it was 3-0. I mean, they were scoring goals to even the game, get back in the game, take the lead. Then they got equalized, and then they took the lead again. So really good character by them in the getting of those 3 goals, not in a one-sided match at all.
Corner kick for Richmond here in the early stages of the second half. This will be the third for the Spiders. Liberty with 3 corners in the first half, so they are now even overall. Over there is Molly Morgan. Has an assist on the season. Strikes it with the left foot. Headed away by Liberty. Spiders control it and settle it near midfield. Now looking ahead again. Silliman working hard to get to the ball. Had the first goal of the day. Now the ball is played across. And Meredith King, the first to it for Liberty, as she now races up the near side. Finds Maddie Oliver.
Meredith King showing you that quality right there that you're just not going to find a lot of players having. She had dropped all the way into the defensive penalty area, collected that ball, and carried it 3/4 of the length of the field. Just a great ability with the ball at her feet.
She had one of the goals in the first half. That gave Liberty its first lead of the season. 29th minute, assisted by Maddie Ellis. Liberty led 2-1 at the time. TJ Anderson tied it 5 minutes after that for Richmond. Perliman had the assist on that one, by the way. So Perliman has been involved in every single goal for Richmond so far this year. She has scored 3 and assisted on the other. After it was tied at 2, Taylor Mason broke the tie. Their first career goal for the Flames, assisted by Rachel DeRuby. There's Casey Mers. We've mentioned her name a few times. Sophomore defender for the Spiders. Pulse with a restart here. Oliver working for Liberty on the left side. Drives it toward DeRuby. Liberty looking for its first lead of multiple goals on this season.
Yeah, applying the the early pressure here in the attacking third and at the beginning of the half here. Looking a little bit more patient maybe than they did in the opening half.
This is Becca Ernest, and she's the last to touch it there. So it'll be a goal kick for Richmond.
Yeah, we talked about our keys to the match, and one of them was, Liberty dictating tempo. Right here is I think is a pretty good example. First half, their tempo was attack, attack, attack. They were very direct, got into the attack quickly. This half, they've come out and tried to knock the ball around a little bit and maybe, force Richmond to have to patiently defend. And we all know that defending can take more out of the team than possessing the ball. So we'll see if that Liberty continues that ploy, if they'll go more into the direct attack again.
All right, John, you said you could have predicted a little bit of that first stat I rattled off. How far back do you think you have to go for 3 goals in the first half specifically for Liberty?
I'm going to say 2015.
Very close. October 1st, 2016. We'll count that.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I wish my teachers had been that generous in high school, but I appreciate that.
Well, it was a pop quiz over a class you hadn't taken yet, so I think we'll give a little leeway. But yes, October 1st, 2016. Liberty actually scored 4 goals in that one. Here's a shot that sails to the right of the goal. That was against Presbyterian. TJ Anderson, who had the tying goal, tied at 2 in the first half, trying to tie it at 3 here, but that ball ended up bending to the right.
Yeah, she never really got over top of that one right there. Not a bad idea. You know, right now, I don't know if you could tell by watching it on the TV screen, but the lighting is still a problem for the goalkeepers on either end. And if you get one up in that sunlight, a keeper may have a hard time picking it out. We mentioned how Liberty scored all 3 of their goals high panel in the opening half. Right now, the lighting is still a little bit of a negative impact on the goalkeepers, but it should be. We should have the entire field in shade not too long from now.
Saw Taylor Montague there a moment ago. She remains in goal for Richmond. Getting the call today, Claire Hinkle in goal on Sundays. Richmond has been going back and forth, so Hinkle had the whole game against Longwood, which was a 1-0 victory. Now Montague with her turn here against Liberty. Corner ball comes in. Now it is King trying to get to it, and a goal kick for Richmond.
King has absorbed a couple of hard contacts over there on the end line. One in the opening half, which she drew a yellow card for, and she definitely is willing to throw her body on the line to try to keep the ball in play.
Marty Beal talked about that a little bit with Liberty when he was looking at this matchup, said the Flames were a strong physical team that wasn't afraid to come in hard on a challenge. And when you hear those types of phrases or that type of verbiage, you're often thinking, you know, the 5'9", 5'10" players or whatever, but Meredith King listed at 5'3", but you make a valid point, John, that can come in just as hard or otherwise, and Liberty's not afraid, certainly, to aggressively try to win that ball.
Yeah, they're not, and you could tell, you know, when a coach brings that up, I think they're aware that they could get beat up a little bit physically on the field, and he's trying to make his team aware of that too.
Ball is sent away by Molly Weirman.
Another good ball played in front of the goal there. Liberty, as we talked about early in the match, just looking to time that ball up. They have yet to time up a ball where a late run comes in and finishes, but they are continuing to attempt that right now.
This is Ellis from distance, and Montague wisely lets it go out. Had an eye on it the whole way, tracking it and guarding that near post just in case. Richmond will patiently try to bring it up here, working it through the midfield. Anderson, quick touch to allow the Spiders now to work it over to the far side. King again, back defensively for Liberty. Once she helps Liberty gain possession, she sprints all the way up the right side to try to get back to an offensive position for the Flames, but she's covering a lot of ground here, especially in the second half.
Yeah, we talk about work rate a lot, and you know, you're getting a really good look at it from players tonight from both teams, but you know, King is definitely one you notice out here. Maddie Oliver, Zoe Gaffney, both of them, when they've been in the match, you know, are working really hard. Taylor Mason came off the bench, high work rate. I think that's what both coaches would tell you they're looking for, particularly Lang Wiedemeyer. We mentioned he hasn't come down on that starting 11 yet, but work rate is going to play a big part in that.
It's good to see the players and the conditioning coming off of a competitive spring. Talked to Lang Wiedemeyer about that, and the fact that they took the whole month of May off, John, other than some light conditioning to obviously stay in shape, but an interesting approach to it, and I think a practical one with the spring season going so late, and you only have a couple of months to recharge and you're back into a competitive fall.
Yeah, you're right, and I'm sure when they took that time off, these are all college athletes. I'm sure maybe they were doing a little bit more than light conditioning. I would think, as athletes, they realize, they worked really hard to get to that point of a fitness level. They didn't want to let that completely go.
On the other side, Marty Beal said this is the fittest his team has been coming into a season, also the deepest for Richmond. So both teams benefiting there. Here's a shot, and Liberty goes on top by 2. The Flames have a 4-2 advantage. Casey Jamison with a rocket from distance.
Yeah, great left foot. The whole thing was really set up by King, making that lateral run across the top of the circle with the ball at her feet, beating defenders and picking out Casey Jamison. Right here, you get a look at her. She finds her out on the left, and Casey Jamison knows what to do with it from there. And great left-footed strike. 4th goal of the day for Liberty, and we hate to keep talking about it, but all 4 of them have been high in the panel, and they continue to pound the top of that goal.
Liberty with a 2-goal lead earlier this game, enjoyed its first lead at all this season. That was 2-1, now leading 4-2. Jamison's first of the year. We talked about her at the beginning, coming off of 7 goals and looking for that to reignite here in the fall, and right there it is, John.
Yeah, we mentioned her as our player to watch, and a player that Liberty really needed to get a goal tonight and to get her confidence level up. They play better when she's playing well. Right there, after that goal was scored, we got to look at Montague kind of talking to her defenders, and I think part of it was probably you cannot let King, with the ball at her feet, drive across the top of the circle without anybody, putting a challenge in on her and letting her pick out an open teammate, and that's exactly what happened, and really good execution by Liberty right there in the attack.
There's Meredith King. She has a goal earlier today as well. Now adds an assist to the tally. And for Jamison, those 7 goals in the spring. Prior to that, in 2019, she was second on the team with 5 goals and has just continued to progress throughout her collegiate career. The senior out of Lansing, Michigan, has given Liberty a 4-2 advantage here in the second half.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive attack tonight, and it all started with Chloe Marr, and then she goes out with an injury, and you had to be thinking a little bit, okay, well, Liberty got an early goal, but now the goal scorer is out. Where are they going to get goals from? And they've just continued to get them from everywhere. And Coach Wiedemeyer is going to be breathing a big sigh of relief over there and really enjoying the display put on tonight. He would love for his back line to get out tonight without giving up any more goals.
Richmond takes it over with Molly Weirman. Now Liberty gains it back around the Liberty logo. In a circle, that's the LU50 logo. Here's King again. A goal and an assist so far this evening. Working across the top of the 18 one more time. Flames collect it with Ernest. There's Jamison with the most recent goal. Now Maddie Oliver to the Ruby. Siobhan Judon with the Flames now over to the right side of the field. We'll find Alexis Salazar. Salazar going to work against Weirman. And that did cross the line, so it's a Richmond goal kick.
A little bit more of that patient buildup Liberty showed here in half number 2. And we talked about in the opening half, they played very direct. Now they're playing more patient. And I would expect that to continue with a 2-goal advantage. You want to make Richmond have to work for everything they get now. You know, you don't want to turn over and give them a good counter-attacking opportunity. Liberty probably going to be more patient and maybe try to spread them out in the back line a little bit.
Richmond throw from the far side. And that trickles out, so it'll go over to LU.
Good look at Brenna Warren there. As a defender, a lot of time, we haven't called her name a lot tonight, but as a defender, that can be a good thing. It means, you know, you're doing your job, you're picking your teammates out quickly. I feel like she's had a really good match here tonight.
Richmond throws it in here, just about 15 minutes into the second half. 60 minutes complete overall. Liberty with 3 goals in the first and 1 here in the second. Trailing by a goal after 10 minutes of play. There's Perlman. She had that first goal. Also her 3rd of the year. Kind of interesting. We talk about the non-conference and how you're trying to figure out pieces and who can step into certain roles. Something else that Marty Beal had mentioned about Perlman specifically is they thought she'd be on the flank this year, but they wanted to take a look at something in training and all of a sudden put her at center forward, and things just clicked. She just really stepped into that role and started to work with the teammates, and so they said, well, let's roll with this. So that happened going into the Maryland game. So you're talking about you have a plan coming into the season. Things can change around in the non-conference. Players not just solidifying the role that they're in at the moment, maybe solidifying a different role altogether to really step in. But Marty Beal had high praise for her, saying that she's really finding her stride, continuing to learn about positioning in this new role, and just overall really hungry to help the team be successful.
Yeah, and she's had a great match here tonight. We mentioned already our player to watch, and she's been a good one already. They're going to need a little bit more from her, though, to get back into the match. You know, they've got 2 goals on the board. Normally, you'd think that might be a good output for a game, but tonight it's only halfway there.
You obviously have a lot of experience, all elements of the game, playing, coaching, refereeing, or otherwise, but have you ever had something like that happen where you're just kind of trying something out, maybe not even thinking it's for your own side, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, this works?
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like it's happened more on the defending end of the field, where you find a player that just naturally becomes a defender for you.
A couple of Liberty players coming in here. I want to remind you that September 4th is the last chance to get Liberty football season tickets and save up to 51%. Visit lufootball.com for more information. That is 2 days away to lock that in.
A couple new players came in the match, and I noticed Finley came in, and we talked about on the broadcast the other day, the daughter of the men's coach, Kelly Finley. She's a true freshman here for LU. Came in and gave them good minutes the other day. We keep talking about work rate, and she showed a really good work rate in the midfield the other day. Can be tough to deal with her quickness.
There's Maddie Oliver, who continues to work hard as well for the Flames. She has logged plenty of minutes so far. A corner kick on the way for LU. 4th of the day, first this half. Based on what we're seeing on the board. I know, I got a questioning look from John, don't worry. Just reading the numbers. Ball's played in, it's headed in, and Liberty leads 5-2. The Flames have erupted for 5 goals today. Lena James puts this one home.
Yeah, great head ball right there. Perfectly played ball by Maddie Martin. And right here, you're going to get to watch Lena James really didn't even have to elevate for that ball. She was in the perfect position. Came off the ground a little bit, but she had it measured up all the way, put it right back to the far post, and Montague gave up the 5th goal of the day. That's the first goal they've had that did not attack the upper panel of the goal, and Liberty is playing very well here tonight. I believe that might be their first goal off of a corner kick this year. And they've done a good job of getting corner opportunities. They've played very well in the attacking end to get those opportunities, but they were able to convert one here tonight.
And that was their 5th corner of the day, John. You were right to give me that questioning glance.
I felt like they had another one in the second half is the only reason I really thought about it.
I was right there with you. I just did the broadcaster thing and blindly said something that was right in front of me. Sorry, you get one of those a game, right?
Oh, yeah. I usually get 2 or 3, actually.
Here's TJ Anderson. Chance for Richmond to respond, at least start a comeback effort perhaps. Instead, Zoe Gaffney with it for the Flames. Madison Martin, who set everything up with the corner kick just moments ago. Now a ball comes through. Richmond has a chance here for its first goal of the half. Instead, it is blocked in front before it makes its way on to goal. And now Gaffney gets to it for Liberty and sends it out wide to the left. Taylor Mason racing up that flank. Mason. Now Liberty working it back across to the right. This is Judon. Judon takes the shot, deflected. Finley coming in, and Montague gets there for the Spiders.
Good little counterattack there by Liberty, defending for a while, able to break out, change the field, got the ball out to Taylor Mason. She showed you a little bit of her ability to get up and down the field, got into the attacking end quickly, and Liberty able to create a minor opportunity off of that.
Few subs here, 1 for Richmond, 2 for Liberty coming in, approaching the midway point of the second half. There's a look at Avery Belk for the Flames. Judon heads off.
And now in for Liberty number 7, Brady Herman. Number 32, Avery Belk.
Herman and Belk, the two to come on for the Flames. Well, Katie Groves comes in for Richmond.
Yeah, Herman, a player who came in that opening half, and we talked about her a little bit, had a really good opening half. I thought played very well off the back line and did a lot of good things confidently. We keep talking about, they're bringing in players off the bench that are playing incredibly well. And you get a feeling for why maybe Coach Wiedemeyer can't come down on that exact starting 11 yet, because you have a lot of people that are able to contribute and a lot of people that have a high work rate.
That's the challenge for the Flames, and you're right, it's not all a bad thing. He emphasized a lot of players are playing well. He said they were playing in a positive role, positive feedback for all of them. They are playing well. He's looking for some of them to play excellent, and that's where you can really separate yourself and solidify a few of those roles, or as he said, lock down your spot. This shot is taken looking for the near post, but it ends up off frame.
Yeah, you could make the argument tonight. They've had a lot of players play excellent.
Yeah.
Maybe more than 11 actually.
Yeah.
And it's going to make it even more fun. It's a good problem to have. We've talked about it for Coach Wiedemeyer. When you have that much quality on your bench, you like having that problem. The key is finding that 11 that's going to click. The chemistry is going to do well. Communication, all that will come together. They've been really working on the attacking end tonight. That has come together. So, a lot of good things to build off of right now.
Taylor Mason commits a foul.
Hard challenge in the attacking end. I talk about this all the time. You're happy with that as a coach. You want your attackers going in hard, trying to get that turnover in an area where you can create an opportunity right off of the turnover.
They stop the clock to give an extra moment to Caroline Leidecker. Make sure she's okay after the contact. 21:40 remaining in this one. Liberty now with a 5-2 advantage. Flames continue the homestand on Sunday against Delaware. This is a foul here after the slick move by Finley to take it away. Then the foul committed by Molly Morgan.
Yeah, a little bit of what I talked about when she came in the match. She can create trouble with that, particularly in the midfield, quickness, then got between the ball and the player, and she just pulled her down. A good play by Finley right there.
Now it'll be James here. Finley trying to get to it again. That ball goes off of Poe's last, so Richmond will throw it in after a couple of subs.
Now on for Richmond, number 11, Emma Coleman. Number 27, Nora Santelli.
Nora Santelli and Emma Coleman coming in for the Spiders. Richmond has actually outshot Liberty 10-7, but Liberty has more shots on goal, 6-5, and clearly has the upper hand on shots that have made it into the goal, 5-2 right now.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, that's actually the number one number you look at is shots in goal.
Yeah.
And,
is that an important stat, John? Is that something
yeah.
you look at a lot?
A lot of people get caught up in that shots on goal, but
Here's a chance for number 6 in the goal. The shot is just off to the left. Montague came off her line. Gaffney controlled it, but the shot misses wide of the target.
good work by Gaffney right here, continuing the play, not giving up on it, and almost rewarded for her effort right here. Had a knee on it and just couldn't direct it to goal.
Been a long day for Montague. This is her third contest of the year, but her first time going all 90 minutes, or at least that's the direction it's going. She's been out there for the first 70 plus today.
Yeah, we talked about, or you really talked about how they've been trading time, you know, each getting their opportunity. And I was just thinking a little while ago, Hinkle probably thinking, I'm glad it was Montague's turn tonight because it's been a rough night in goal.
Yeah, going back to those numbers, 6 shots on goal and 5 in the goal for Liberty. But as you've noted, John, some quality shots, top panel on a few of them. I mean, it's been a tough day for Montague, but not just because of anything she's done per se.
No, I meant just the attack that Liberty has mounted tonight has been very good and very creative and very, very much from different people the entire night.
Look at this. Boy, we're full of just fun facts today. October 15th, 2016, last time Liberty scored 5 goals in the contest. That was a shutout as well against Campbell. That would have been a conference game, I would assume. That would have been the old Big South days.
I believe it was, yeah.
Liberty football opens its season against Campbell coming up this weekend. We were just talking about season tickets. So Campbell will be here to begin the football campaign for the Flames. The Fighting Camels from Bowie's Creek, North Carolina. Have you been to Bowie's Creek before, John?
I have. I actually played there. When I played for Liberty, we went to Bowie's Creek.
Yeah.
I remember a little bit about it.
I've been there a few times myself for sporting events. Wonder if it's grown since you were there to when I was there.
I'm sure it has. Right here, Liberty needs to be a little bit careful. They don't want to give up another goal, and Palacios able to clean that one up. You know, when you've got a 5-2 advantage, you're feeling comfortable, but You know, the last thing that Coach Wiedemeyer wants right here is to give up another goal. You just want to learn how to close out a match well, and they've worked on about every other aspect you could work on tonight. Now they're gonna work on closing out a match that they have control of.
Finley trying to center it. Now Anderson for Richmond plays it high into the air. You're exactly right. Even if Richmond just scores one goal, 5-3, you win by 2 goals. But you hate to have a result like that and you leave with a sour taste in your mouth going into another home game on Sunday.
And really, you know,
Here's a chance, though, where Richmond is trying to create something offensively. And that's chipped through, and nobody on it for the Spiders.
you know, your back line, they feel like they've earned a 5-2 advantage, a 5-2 win, if you want to call it that. And your goalkeeper, you know, for your goalkeeper, they love to keep their numbers down. There's not going to be a clean sheet tonight. We know that already. But, you know, Palacios would love to keep this down to 2 goals. She's had a good match tonight. You know, maybe start to build that momentum on the back line right now. And they can definitely be aware of that as they finish out the match. We haven't talked about the other night, but when they were coming back in that match when they were down 2-0 against VCU, they actually went with a 3-back formation to get more attackers into the other end of the field, and it worked for them. They got that 1 goal, and they created a couple more opportunities. Coach Wiedemeyer is probably very happy that they don't have to work on that tonight. They can keep their standard 4-back formation.
Anderson, the big right foot, clears everyone and goes out of play.
Well, we've gotten to the point of the match where we have no glare coming off of the building across the field from us, and very, very good conditions for the spectators out here tonight. Temperature, as we mentioned, probably the coolest we've had in 3 months.
I'd say that, yeah, for sure. The remnants of Hurricane Ida came through the Lynchburg area yesterday, and that really did a number, not just in terms of rainfall, but certainly did a number on the temperature. The high today, the high for the entire day was only 79 degrees. That's a far cry from the heat and humidity that has been in the area, and as we speak right now, 72 and falling.
Good reason why we did not have any hydration breaks tonight.
Yep.
And I prefer not having them.
Right.
Me personally, I just think it's a new innovation in the game. You know, not how the game was always played. I understand, though, these are young people and you want to protect them. So that's a good idea from that standpoint.
Liberty has it taken away here, but Richmond, a long pass looking for Emma Coleman. Gives it right back. Finley. Now a good ball played to Pose. Pose coming in. And that found the feet of Gaffney, but not able to time the steps to do much with it.
Yeah, good ball, good run right there by Gaffney. Unfortunately, ball kind of got caught behind her, unable to bring it out in front of her. She tried to one-touch it. But just another good example of Liberty getting into the attack much better than they had early on in the year.
Marta Alexander, part of that build-up as well. She's in there for the Flames. Her second action of the season, native of Portugal. A Richmond player is down at the moment. And that may be Leidecker, who was being looked at earlier. Now clutching toward that left calf area and all the way up to the hamstring.
Hopefully she'll be all right.
She'll be helped off here. We talked about the upcoming schedule for the Flames at halftime, but again, that game Sunday is at home. Now what you may not remember or know is it's at 6 p.m. Keep that in mind. Almost always a Sunday game at Osborne Stadium is at 1 o'clock, but this Sunday, 6 p.m. when Liberty hosts Delaware. So that is a little bit of a programming note. And of course, we already talked about Richmond with ODU awaiting on its schedule. That will be on the road. Also a Sunday at 6 o'clock affair.
Yeah, maybe we can hope for some cloudy conditions, because otherwise we know what the lighting will look like after tonight.
Yeah.
And for the first hour is usually pretty uncomfortable, but right now it couldn't be any more ideal than it is right now.
Great right now. Anna Antonik coming in for Richmond, as you see there on the screen. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, John. You've been inside for this whole broadcast, and you're going to go home with a sunburn.
That's true. Yeah.
And that is the way the sun sets behind the Liberty Athletic Center and ultimately behind the Blue Ridge Mountains here in Lynchburg, Virginia. But it is calm and peaceful, and as we mentioned, temperature in the low 70s right now. Just a beautiful night now that it has all come together. Richmond with it, and its attacking third will have a throw in.
Good job by Martin right there, just kind of shepherding that ball out of trouble area there. Ball was played over top. She ran it down and took it over to the touch line.
Here's TJ Anderson. She has a big throw, so keep an eye on this. You talked about Richmond trying to create an opportunity. She can almost turn this into a de facto corner the way she can really rocket it deep toward the goal mouth, toward the near post. Comes right back to Anderson. Chipped back in by the Spiders, volleyed around a little bit, and ultimately out of play for a goal kick.
Good job of defending right there. A couple balls played in the air. You mentioned the throw, and then another ball played in the air into the area. Liberty really defending that aerial ball well right there.
There's Anderson, a veteran for this Richmond team. She actually began her collegiate career at Louisville and played 10 contests there before joining the Richmond program, where she has developed over the years and is now a senior captain with this program. Nice touch there to get it on to Pose. Liberty trying to create something. That's Brianna Myers out there for Liberty, a freshman from Troutville, which is not all that far from here either. Leslie Gordon working for the Flames on the right side. We said Marta Alexander in there as well. So plenty of players subbing in here for the final 15 minutes or so for the Flames. And of course, we talk about that energy, passion, and that hunger to validate and earn some more minutes or some more looks. That applies for everyone out there right now as well. This is a chance for them to get some game action against another opponent and see what they can do as well.
Yeah, Gordon didn't really get a chance to talk about it, but did her best Roberto Firmino impression on that touch she made with that volley back heel touch to a teammate. That was a lovely little play there in the midfield.
Anderson with the strike there that sails high.
Yeah, it happened quickly. Gordon made that touch, and you could tell it's something she's done before. She pulled it off very well.
Gordon on this team, a redshirt senior, down from Huntersville, North Carolina. Played just 8 games in 2019, the last time a full fall season was played. Her playing time has increased a little bit after a redshirt season in 2018. She did start a couple games back in 2017, actually played 19 contests then. As Lang Wiedemeyer's talking to Madison Martin, TJ Anderson will be able to leave on her own power right here. Final 9:57. We talk about it still being early season. We've talked about conditioning a little bit. We've talked about the physicality that these teams can present. That's the last thing you want to see here with it being a 5-2 game, is anybody in the final 10 minutes to sustain an injury that could be tough. Audrey Weir comes in. She made her collegiate debut Sunday against Longwood Now the freshman out of Virginia Beach is back out there for the Spiders. Ball played toward Gordon. Gordon trying to keep it in. Instead, it will be a goal kick for Montague.
Yeah, we talk about it when Liberty is trying to come from behind late in a match, and how if you're trying to come from behind, you've got to try to keep the ball on the field of play. It seems like a basic thing to say, but when the ball leaves the field of play, it's just an opportunity for time to go off the clock. And right here, we had a yellow card being issued by Kevin Guido, and
looked like that was to Lissy Gordon.
yes, I believe you're correct. And I think he pointed out to her a couple challenges that she had made that added up to result in that yellow card, and they can call that persistent infringement, I think is the official term. And he just showed it to her real quick. But yeah, we talk about all the time when Liberty's trying to come from behind, you can't have the ball leaving the field of play often. Otherwise, you just don't have any time to build up. And right now, that's something Richmond is having to deal with. As once again, the ball goes off the field of play, and you allow the leading team to run more time off the clock. Now they're bringing in substitutes off the bench. We're not at the point yet where the official will stop the clock if the team in ahead in goals substitutes, they'll stop the clock. But right now we're not at that point yet. Liberty allowed to run more time off the clock right here. And I'm sure Marty Beal is probably feeling the pinch of that time going off the clock.
That was a look there at Gordon a moment ago. A yellow card for her. She subs out. Probably we'll watch the final 8 minutes here. Liberty trying to close out a 5-2 victory and pick up its first win of the season.
Yeah, that's good coaching. You know, Coach Wiedemeyer recognizes got a player on a yellow, a game that he feels like they've got in hand. You might as well get her off the field so she doesn't pick up that second yellow, which would lead to a red. Same thing with King. I believe King had a yellow card early in her match. He's got her off the field right now. Just good job of him keeping track of that.
Again, Liberty has a chance to have some other players out there. Savannah Wortman there a moment ago, her second game of the year. So it really is all working for the Flames this evening, appearing to be on the way to not just their first win of this year, also a first victory over Richmond in program history, fourth all-time meeting, and for the Flames, a victory at home, which is something Liberty has become accustomed to. They've played well at Osborne Stadium the past few seasons, and so for Liberty, with 8 out of 9 games at home during this stretch, you knew the Flames wanted to come away with a home win. Here's Finley on the move, and it'll end up being Richmond's possession after a hit Finley last on the way out.
Yeah, good driving run right there by Finley, able to get an advantage off the dribble and tried to get all the way to the end line, potentially in front of the goal there.
Now the Spiders working quickly with it here. Again, for Richmond trying to find another goal, not just to perhaps spark a furious rally at the end, but you talk about carrying things over into the next contest. This ball makes it all the way through to Palacios, but for Richmond, we saw what Liberty scoring late at the end, even though they couldn't find the equalizer in the final few minutes. Liberty just being able to score that late goal and have something to build on coming into this one. Richmond looking for perhaps something similar here to have a more positive bus ride back to the campus in the state's capital and then ultimately play Old Dominion on Sunday.
Yeah, we hit on that the other day after the Liberty game, and you know, we felt like even though they lost that match 2-1, they finished on a high note. And as a coach, you love to have, you know, things that you can coach on that negatively impacted your team, but you also like to be able to build your team up and tell them what they did well. And Coach Beal would love to be able to talk to them about getting a third goal if they managed to pull that off. And like we talked about, Coach Wiedemeyer would rather that did not happen. They want to finish on a completely high note themselves.
Alexander there with it for a moment, finding Jessa McDonald. Now McDonald up to Wortman. Wortman looking for the near post. Montague there.
Getting to watch a few players here that we haven't watched much, and that's always fun to do. Get to know them a little bit.
Wortman out of Atlanta, Georgia. Junior on this squad. Mentioned Jessica McDonald's name a moment ago. We'll see what happens here. Palacios has to make the save. Clean catch.
A good opportunity there, really created by the change of field that Weir had in midfield to get that ball out here, and not a bad left-footed strike, but Palacios had it covered all the way.
Well, we've talked about Perlman a lot, and rightfully so, but June Stevens, who just took that last shot, you match her up with TJ Anderson and Jesse Perlman. That's a pretty good potent attack there. Stevens has created some opportunities here in the second half especially, and had a couple of quality looks at goal. Stevens, a sophomore hailing from Massachusetts. Really should have mentioned hail after all the storms we've had past 36 hours, but the hurricane's passed. It's in the northeast now. I certainly hope everybody's staying safe. That storm still had plenty of power behind it. What was Hurricane Ida ripping through the Gulf, then up into this area, the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So hopefully everybody's safe. We're certainly glad you've been able to join us for this one, whether it's been the entire game or just catching part of it. Richmond scored the first goal of the game. That was in the 9th minute. Jesse Perlman had the Spiders in front 1-0. Liberty scored 2 in a row to take the lead. TJ Anderson tied it for the Spiders at 2. And since then, 1 goal to close out the first half and 2 more in the second half has Liberty in front 5-2. Madison Martin hustling back defensively for Flames. She's one of those players that's been giving quality minutes throughout and seems to be perhaps solidifying one of those roles. She's been consistently out there for Liberty, and evident here as she's playing the final few minutes of this one as well. Here's TJ Anderson returning. That's good to see. She left earlier and now back in full stride as Audrey Weir subs out.
Thought Weir came in and did an effective job with her few minutes right there, and hopefully for her left a positive impression on her coach.
Here's Anderson with the throw. Sends it all the way down to the other end. Good work there by Marta Alexander. Now finds Savannah Wortman. That ball hugs the line, stays in. Wortman stays with it. Now finds Gaffney.
Yeah, great job by Wortman there. Call that walking the tightrope. Now she goes into the corner, hoping to kill a little bit of time as we're right at the 1.5-minute mark.
Now it ends up with McDonald, who has to sweep it all the way across to the left side. Looked like Savannah Holmes over there.
Yeah, great ball there by McDonald, actually.
Beg your pardon, that's Brianna Myers right there, at least in frame. Now Richmond will clear it all the way down toward the other end.
1 minute remaining.
Anderson gets to it for Richmond as we go into the final minute.
Yeah, if you're Coach Wiedemeyer, you're happy about all these players coming in tonight getting minutes, as you've talked about here, and and getting quality minutes. They're looking good out here. They're not looking in any way overmatched. Just part of the depth that we've been talking about all night for Liberty. I mean, you've got to realize these are not just young ladies coming off the bench. A lot of these are young ladies that haven't played much at all. and they're coming out here looking, very well coached, very disciplined out there, not letting the game get away from them, and all players that are looking to earn more minutes. And as you mentioned, this has been a great opportunity for them to try to earn those minutes out here tonight.
In total, 24 field players for Liberty today. 24 field players out there, and all in all, a 5-2 victory for the Flames. Liberty's first win of the season. It comes over the Richmond Spiders, 5-2 here at Osborne Stadium.
Yeah, great match. We talked about it before pregame. We thought it was going to be very evenly played, and it was for a while. Then Liberty really took control, and they have to be very happy. We'll be back with halftime highlights here in just a minute.
Liberty with 5-2 victory today. And the Flames will be back Sunday, 6 p.m. against Delaware. We'll have that one for you on ESPN Plus as well.